We have some major updates of mixed martial arts, starting with the news. Tom Aspinall revealed Dana White's secret statement about his fight with Jon Jones. Recently, Aspinall appeared on the Piers Morgan show where he revealed that after UFC 309, Dana White personally met with him and confirmed that a fight between him and Jon Jones was set. According to Aspinall's statement, Dana White walked into the room and said, "It's happening, and it's going to be the biggest fight in UFC history."
Right after the Jones fight, the same night, and actually right after that press conference, I had a meeting with Dana.
Yes, because later in that interview with the press, he says he's got you waiting to see.
Yeah, I was waiting outside.
And what happened?
Literally outside that room. So I hadn't seen any of this stuff that he'd said. So in all honesty, I was expecting him to come and we maybe negotiate a little bit. And he literally walked into the room and said, "It's happening." And I said, "Well, he's going to want loads of money." And he said, "I know, but it's happening." And he said, "It's going to be the biggest fight in UFC history." So
does that mean Jon Jones has agreed?
I don't think so, but I don't know what in all honesty, Jon Jones is like, nobody knows what he's doing, even the UFC, so I don't know.
He says he wants you money. I imagine Dana will pay him you money, won't he?
I would imagine so.
Dana White announces the UFC Saudi Arabia card. Israel Adesanya set for main event against Cejudo and Umar. This event will be a fight night, with Dana White recently announcing it as the main event in February. The co-main event will feature Shara Bullet versus Venom Page. Here's the announcement.
On February 1st, live from the ANB Arena. In the main event, former middleweight champion Israel Adesanya will face top 5 ranked Cejudo and Umar. This will be the first time Israel Adesanya has been in a non-title fight since 2019. Adesanya is one of the most exciting and talented strikers to ever compete in the UFC. Out of 24 wins, 16 have come by knockout. He holds the UFC middleweight record for most knockdowns, second title fight wins, and second longest win streak. He holds wins over Alex Pereira, Anderson Silva, Robert Whittaker, and the list just goes on and on. Cejudo and Umar is one of the brightest young contenders in the division. He's currently on a 3-fight win streak, beating all ranked opponents, and he has a similar style to Israel. He loves to strike. In the co-main event, undefeated Shara Bullet Magomedov faces Michael Venom Page. Shara, the Pirate, is coming off an incredible double spinning back fist win over Armen Petrosyan, which broke him into the rankings after just 4 fights in the UFC. 12 of his 15 fights have come by knockout, and he's won a performance bonus in his last 3 fights. Every time this guy fights, you know it will be action-packed. MVP is one of the most entertaining fighters to ever come out of the UK, with an unorthodox karate style that is difficult for anybody to prepare for. He's incredibly explosive and has the ability to finish fights quickly and violently. This will be a very fun fight. Ladies and gentlemen, we're returning to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia live on February 1st. I will see you there.
Henry Cejudo has joined Umar Nurmagomedov's fight camp ahead of Umar's bout against Merab. Recently on Insta handle, Henry shared this.
Хорошо.
Ex-Bellator champion calls out Max Holloway. Former Bellator fighter Patricio Pitbull is on the path to joining the UFC, and his coach recently revealed his plans. The coach mentioned that there are plenty of exciting matchups awaiting Pitbull in the UFC, with one standout possibility being a debut with Max Holloway. Listen to what he actually revealed.
My question to you is, how are we looking at this deal with the UFC? Like, are we going to see him in the UFC anytime soon?
If you want to know my answer about what do I think, what you do with Patricio Pitbull is right here. It's time for him to, he wants to move over, and I say there's plenty of fights for him. One being the BMF belt. Who's the real baddest guy who went up and fought Michael Chandler and knocked him out in 1 minute, 20 seconds. A guy that came back against Daniel Strauss in the 5th round, last 10 seconds with a rear naked choke. So, you know, Pitbull, he comes over to the UFC. I say you throw him right in there with all the legends. And I think the easiest way to do that is the BMF belt.
Dricus du Plessis reveals how his mom defended him against UFC fighters. Recently, DDP talked about how his mom plays a big role in his career. Every time he fights, his mom tries to protect him from his opponents. During a recent appearance on a South African FM station, DDP revealed that his mom got upset with Israel Adesanya and Sean Strickland before the fight, and even defended him on social media when negative comments surfaced.
You mentioned your mom gets personally quite involved.
Yes, she does.
Quite. Yeah. What does she have to say about the fact that you're facing Strickland again?
The same as always. I think my mom gets so nervous before fights, especially when they announce these fights. And she would probably say, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure." And
what did she have to say about Adesanya? Did she get angry?
She got so angry with everything. She got so angry. The Strickland saga, when we had the thing in the crowd and everything that was said. And every Strickland fan, these Americans, they hate losing, going, "No, he wanted to fight, it was a robbery." She gets so angry at it. And I don't even see it anymore. I don't care about it, but I just get notifications, or I'll go see something, and I'll see my mom comment it.
I loved it. I love it.
It happens all the time. Me and my mom, at least once a week, have to talk about this, but
Love it so much.
Mom, I'm a professional fighter. You can't say, "Don't you say that about my son" on Facebook. It's really unprofessional, I think.
Oh, your mom is
I like it.
But my mom she's probably the one who taught me most on how to chirp, and you can see that. The stuff she posts, I can just laugh.
Kamaru Usman has some words on Ilia Topuria. Recently, during Pound for Pound episode, Usman and Cejudo both believes that Ilia Topuria deserves a chance to move up in weight class. They says if Topuria wants to test himself at a higher weight, the UFC should give him that opportunity. According to Usman, if Topuria isn't successful, he can always go back to defending his 145 title. On the other hand, if he is successful, he would be achieving something historic.
He believes in that conviction so much to where, hey, put up Conor, I'll put him to sleep. Put up Charles Oliveira, I'll put him to sleep. Put up Islam, I'm put him to sleep. Like, he has that conviction. And hey, he's told us that twice now in these world title fights. And what did everyone do? Everyone went, I don't know. Volkanovski is a beast. You can't do that. He went out there and he did it. And then he goes, give me Max Holloway. And we're like, oh, I don't know. Max Holloway, the best boxer in the UFC. I don't know if you could do that. He went out there and did it. So him calling for a fight like this, I think the UFC does 100%. I think you give him what he wants. Yeah. If he's not successful, because this is how you test him right here. If he's not successful, okay, then you let him know, hey, stay back down there and keep defending your belt.
Yeah.
But if he is successful,
no, Kamaru, I love where Ilia is going. Relinquish that belt at 145 pounds. Go up and do something that nobody has ever done.
Seems like the MMA community doesn't like Jake Paul's take on Nate Diaz. Recently, during a conference, Jake Paul shared his thoughts on a Nate Diaz rematch in MMA. Jake said Nate is scared to fight him.
Nate Diaz is actually scared to fight me in MMA, actually. The biggest payday of his life would be me and him in MMA. And he hides behind PFL is the reason he won't do it. Yeah, so I'm ready.
Here's how MMA community reacts. Nate Diaz said, sign the contract. Scary, and not in 12 months from now and in a shitty organization. Another guy wrote, Nick and Nate might not be the greatest fighters MMA has ever had, but they are shoulder to shoulder with them. They are, however, the most badass fighters there has been. They never needed $1 billion to fight. You just needed to talk shit to them to learn a lesson. Legends. I need this fight more than I need air to breathe. Oh, here we go. Nate gonna choke him out again. Especially with his beef with Dana. It would make the fight massive. It would break the internet. Sign the contract, Jake Paul. Come on, Nate. Show him how it's done. #WarDiaz.
In MMA, this dude gets smoked by Nate. I really want to see you pick him to pieces.
Both are all talk. And that's all for today's update. Hit that subscribe button and make sure to press the notification bell so you get regular updates on what's going on here in the MMA world. And most importantly, please take care of yourself.